Space is just packed with these truly surprising facts, things that kind of make you rethink everything you thought you knew about the universe, and even about ourselves. So let's just jump right in. So you gotta wonder, right? How much does space actually change things? I mean, is it just about far-off galaxies, or does it hit closer to home? Like, can it change us? Well, that's what we're gonna find out. We're gonna look at this on 3 different levels: the human, the planetary, and the totally cosmic. Okay, so first up, let's start with something we can all relate to: our own bodies. I mean, we think we know them pretty well, but what happens when you take one and, just launch it into orbit? Things start to get weird, and in ways you would not expect. So here's the deal. On Earth, gravity is constantly squishing you down. But up in space, that pressure's gone. So your spine gets this chance to just relax and decompress. The little discs between your vertebrae actually spread out. It's this quiet but totally real change happening inside your body. And get this, it's not a small difference. We're talking up to 2 inches taller. Can you imagine? It's kind of amazing, right? It really shows you just how tuned in our bodies are to living right here on Earth and how fast they react when we go somewhere else. Yeah, this isn't some sci-fi idea. It's a real, documented thing that happens to astronauts. So the bottom line is, space can literally stretch you out. It changes the human body. Okay, that's pretty wild. If just the absence of gravity can do that to a person, what happens when something from space actually comes down and smacks into a planet, like our planet? Let's zoom way out and take a look. So we're shifting gears now. We're going from the human scale to the whole planet. Because, Earth isn't just floating in a vacuum. We're in a cosmic neighborhood. And let's just say, sometimes the neighbors drop by unannounced, and they leave a mark. So try to imagine this. Go back tens of thousands of years. There's this massive chunk of iron and nickel just screaming through space, and its final destination is modern-day Arizona. And this thing did not land gently. We're talking about an event with an unbelievable amount of power. The force of this impact was just staggering. It didn't just make a dent. It instantly vaporized solid rock. The shockwave would have flattened everything for miles and miles around. It basically punched a giant bowl right into the planet's surface. And the scar it left behind? It's nearly a mile wide. Think about that. A single object from space hit with enough force to create a crater big enough to swallow a whole town. That's the kind of power we're dealing with here. All right, so space can stretch us, and it can leave a permanent scar on our home world. But what about the other planets out there? Some of them have these just bizarre properties that don't make any sense based on what we see every day. So now let's take our final leap out to the cosmic scale. This next one. This might just be one of the weirdest, coolest facts in our entire solar system. And it's about a planet we all know. We can all picture it. The big one with the rings, Saturn. Okay, I know this sounds totally made up, but it is 100% true. Saturn is a gas giant, which means even though it's huge, it's not very dense. It's mostly gas. In fact, its average density is less than water. So yeah, if you could build a bathtub big enough to hold a planet, Saturn would just float like a giant bath toy. Just look at this to see how weird that is. Earth, our moon, they're dense, rocky. You drop them in that giant cosmic bathtub and they sink straight to the bottom. But not Saturn, it's the floater of the solar system, a total oddball. So let's just step back for a second. From our own spines getting longer, to giant craters in the desert, to a planet that could float, we've seen some pretty mind-blowing stuff. So let's just run through it one more time. Fact 1, humans actually get taller in space. Fact 2, a rock from space left a mile-wide scar on Earth. And fact 3, the massive planet Saturn would float in water. Each one is wild, and each one is on a totally different scale. And I think that's the real point here, right? These amazing things, these marvels of the universe, they're not just happening light years away. They connect right back to us, to our planet, to our own solar system. They're literally everywhere you look, from the smallest scale to the biggest. And that really just leaves you with one last big question. If this is the stuff we already know, what else is out there? What other mind-blowing wonders are just hiding out in the dark, waiting for us to find them?